Hello guys, it's 899 here and welcome to NRL Tips and Predictions Round 15. Basically halfway through the season now, and some teams are doing the goods, others not so, and some are just putting question marks on everything. Without further ado, no spaffy intro, we're just going to go right into it. Our opening game on Thursday, we have the Gold Coast Titans up against the West Tigers. So the Gold Coast Titans had another one of their kind of classic performances, which unfortunately for them have become pretty consistent, of them scoring enough points that should realistically win them the game, but the other team just happened to score more, and that being South Sydney. Also, there was a little bit of a thing about the Gold Coast were in the lead at halftime, and the South Sydney just ran roughshod in the second half. And for the West Tigers, they came back from 18-0 down to make it 19-18, but a penalty of impeding the field goal kicker gave a penalty to get the 2-pointer and was enough for Canberra to get the win. In my personal opinion about that matter, because obviously a lot of people are saying, it's a bullshit call. Whether you like that call, that rule or not, it is still a rule. This happened like a few years ago on Good Friday, South Sydney against Canterbury. It cost the Bulldogs the game there, and as much as you could say, it's a bad call, it's like he still made contact with the player, so by definition it's still a penalty, unfortunately. But then in fairness, I'm gonna be completely honest, buddy, the Tigers should have won it at the end, but they got too close to the field and then just had no idea what to do with the ball, and so bit of an interesting game that was. But this game, I feel like it's going to be even more interesting. Like, I do think it's like my gut's telling me I need to go for the Titans to take this win. But again, it's just that there's a lot of question marks over their team at the moment, because they've got good attack. They've proven time and time again they have very good attack. The problem they have is their defense. But their defense is kind of lacking. So I think this game might somewhat be close, but I'm going to say that I think the Gold Coast Titans should take the win on Thursday. Now we go to the first game on Friday, and again, it's another tasty matchup. Two teams currently in the top 8. You got the Canberra Raiders and the New Zealand Warriors. Now, the Canberra Raiders, obviously, like we just mentioned in the previous entry, got their just about a 1-point win with controversy, apparently, against the West Tigers. And the New Zealand Warriors went roughshod in the second half against the Dolphins and pulled a 30-6 win. These two teams have actually had a fair amount of encounters where it has been very close. I believe the last time it was as well, where... actually, that might be 2 years ago. What was the one that... Was it Tuivasa-Sheck scored in the corner, but Canberra stopped it and the game ended and the game was over and Canberra held out to win? I think that might not have been last year, but we'll keep going with that. I think it comes down to Canberra are still a bit questionable, but you got the Warriors who just knocked off the Dolphins. Granted, there are a few players that were arrested because they were playing for Queensland and State of Origin, but I think this is going to potentially be the match of the round. I think this is going to be a very exciting game, and I'm going to go a little bit against the grain. I'm actually going to say that the New Zealand Warriors will take the win here. I don't think they've got on best form. I think Fanua Blake's amazing. He's on good form recently. I think he's going to do well in this game. And expect a very close game, but I think the Warriors should be able to take it. Now we go to the main event on Friday, as it's 4 Pines Park. It's the Manly Sea Eagles up against the Redcliffe Dolphins. So Manly, obviously, last week had a bye, which is actually very good for them because, they had a few... I was about to say a few. One of their players was playing Origin for New South Wales, being Tom Trbojevic. And you've got the Redcliffe Dolphins, who did suffer a fairly sizable loss last week to the Warriors, but did have a couple of players out from State of Origin there. But it's going to be interesting. Turbo has been cleared to play this game, so you pretty much got a full-strength Manly team. You might probably see potentially a full-strength Dolphins team, but it's going to be very hard to tell what's going to happen here. What are you doing? We've got a dog of the week. Speak to me, my child. What is it? So, just spoke to the dog, who's now starting to attack me. And we are going to go with... And she said So this is attacking my hamstring, which I think this might be a reference to Time to watch. We're going to say dog of the week. The Manly Sea Eagles are going to take the win over the Redcliffe Dolphins on 8 p.m. Friday. Now we move on to Saturday. Big 3 games on Saturday. So first off, 3 p.m. kickoff at Cogra, I believe that is. It is the St. George Illawarra Dragons up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, Dragons actually played fairly well against the Panthers last week, but Panthers were just too good enough to get the result. South Sydney had a fantastic performance in the second half against the Gold Coast Titans. So they're not really giving much of a chance for the Dragons to take this game. And I mean, it kind of makes sense because you're going to have Latrell Mitchell back. You're going to have a bunch of the South Stars who played in Origin back, and it could potentially be a massacre, and I'm just going to straight up say, yeah, I think South Sydney should take the win there. Now we go to the 5:30 kickoff, and we have the Brisbane Broncos up against the Newcastle Knights. So the Brisbane Broncos got a win at Shark Park last week. It's a very monumental victory because it's very hard to get a win down there. And the Knights are coming off a bye, so no players went to Bali. We haven't heard that much recently, but I do think the Knights are playing all right football. I think we're going okay. I think it just depends on how we go about this second half of the season, whether or not Adam O'Brien's gonna stay on as coach. But Brisbane have got to win. I mean, it's like I can't say that the Knights. I think the Knights can, make it competitive. I just don't think it's possible. Like they're going to get the win. And then we go to the 7:30 game to finish out NRL Super Saturday. We have the Sydney Roosters against the Penrith Panthers. So the Sydney Roosters have got a 1-point win over the Bulldogs. Somehow, it was a very good game actually. The Roosters Panthers game. It was the Roosters Bulldogs game. The Bulldogs actually starting to show that yes, they are competitive. It's just they just can't get over this hump of actually getting the win. And the Panthers are coming off a win against the Dragons. However, obviously the major news: Nathan Cleary is out for 6 weeks, which is going to rule him out for predominantly the rest of Origin and for a fair amount of time because of a bunch of games in the middle of the season. So the thing is when it comes to this Penrith squad is I believe they've got enough talented players. They could just put anyone in and the whole system works completely fine. Even though Cleary is out, I'm going to say that the Penrith Panthers will take the win at Allianz. It's just, again, I'm just not really sold on the Roosters. I've said that a fair amount of times, and I think most of the times they've won. But it's like they finally got a win that broke a 4-game losing streak against the Bulldogs by a point. I don't really see them getting the result over the Penrith Panthers. Now we go to Sunday, 4 p.m. The only game on Sunday because there's a game on Monday, which we need. We need to bring back Monday Night Football. But the 4 p.m. kickoff on Sunday is the Melbourne Storm up against the Cronulla Sharks. The Melbourne Storm are actually coming off a very confusing result, losing 45-20 to the North Queensland Cowboys. Makes absolutely no sense how that happened. It's just the Cowboys just swept them off the park. And the Cronulla Sharks are coming off a very tight loss at home to the Brisbane Broncos. So I think this game is going to be very interesting because obviously you got two teams that are both coming off losses. They're both very similar positions. It's just about who wants the game more. And this game I genuinely think could go down to Golden Point. But it's going to be very hard. It's like the Storm's still got the loss and they haven't really had anyone play out of their team, and the Sharks don't have anyone play out of their team for representative footy. I'm going to make a bit of a bold call here. Even though they are the favourites, I think this is still going to be a bold call. I think the Storm can win. So you can start to see the Sharks start to drop down the ladder a little bit. But yeah, I do think Melbourne should be able to take a win there. And finally, Monday Night Football, the 12th of June, the Monarch's birthday, because it's not the Queen's birthday, because there's a bit of a hassle about her being, A, not the current monarch, and B, being dead. Rest in peace, Lizzie. You would have loved this match. As you've got the Canterbury Bulldogs taking on the Parramatta Eels. Now, obviously, the Bulldogs had their very close game. Probably, I think, should have won against the Roosters, but it was very close, and it's still showing that the Bulldogs are very good. And the Parramatta Eels are coming off a bye. No trips to Bali, says Mitchell Moses. It's not like, going to Bali helped the team that they got criticised for it. The same team yous didn't beat at Magic Round. I don't like Parramatta for some reason. I didn't know if you could tell. Obviously, Parramatta have now got all of their fresh players. But I still think the Bulldogs can do something. It's weird. I still think the Bulldogs can go all right. So I think this should actually be a good game, and I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to say the Bulldogs are going to win it on Monday. I think it should be a good game. And yeah, those are my predictions. So, bit of an announcement. You've probably seen a little bit on my social medias. I'm done with uni for the semester now. So, pretty much from now till like the second half of July, no uni work, so I can make as much content as I want. So, it's very good. I want to actually go out and do stuff. I want to actually watch my footy. I've only been to one game all year. Was meant to go last week to the Roosters Bulldogs game, but I had to pull out. So yeah, hopefully this should be a good run of form for the channel. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later.